inviting us, the Answer Scholarship, to come and share a little bit about what we do to send moms to college. And we're really grateful for the opportunity. We wish we could be in person, but maybe another time. For those of you who haven't heard about Answer, I'd like to give a brief history of what we're all about, how we got started, and where we're going. And then you'll have, as Kevin said, or you'll have the opportunity to hear from a couple of our scholars today. Nobody can tell the story better than the scholars themselves. These women are very tenacious, wonderful, wonderful women with quite the story. So why Answer? So from the time I was a little girl, around 4 years old, I knew I was going to go to college. That was what was preached in my house. And I didn't know it at the time, but my father was a first-generation college graduate. So education was important in my family, and that's what was talked about. But when it came time for me to go to college, unfortunately, there was no money. But it had already been instilled in me that I was going. I just had to figure out a way to pay for it. And I was very fortunate when a local organization came alongside of me and offered me a 4-year partial scholarship to UNC Charlotte. And I will never forget their generosity, and that truly impacted my life. As a young college graduate, I had made a vow that one day I wanted to pay it forward and help other women as they had helped me. But life got busy. I got married, I had 2 kids, and for the next 10 years I wrote out my check for my student loans, but I never forgot my promise of what I wanted to do. So in 2005, the opportunity came for me to make good on my promise, and that's when the Answer Scholarship was started. Answer provides college scholarships for mothers raising school-age children in the Mecklenburg and surrounding counties of North and South Carolina. Our mothers can be married or single, so I want to let everybody know they can be married or single. They have to be raising at least one school-age child, and that's pre-K through 12th grade. And our mothers can earn the degree of their choice, a 4-year bachelor's degree, a 2-year nursing degree, or we will accept the associate's degrees from Central Piedmont's health and career fields, along with their IT fields as well. Since 2006, we have grown. Answer started out solely as an endowment under Foundation for the Carolinas, and then in May of 2016, we received our 501c3. We still remain in close partnership with the foundation. They house our endowment. They help with the selection of our scholars, and they also pay the money directly to the schools. So they help out in that way. It's very helpful. Since the fall of 2006, Answer has now awarded over $467,000 in scholarships. And for this upcoming school year, we just selected 19 scholars, totaling over $70,000. And we're a little disappointed. Our goal had been to award 25 scholarships this year, which would have been over $90,000. But when COVID-19 hit, we lost 3 major fundraisers this spring. But we're happy to say that we're level with where we were last year. Last year, we awarded 19 scholarships and approximately the same amount of money. So we feel good that at least we're staying level. We have now awarded a total of 155 scholarships to 88 women. Our program is renewable up to 4 years. And this May, we will have celebrated our 59th graduates. So we're really excited about that. Many of these women have come back to Answer to serve as mentors, to serve on our committees, and a couple of them have served on our governing board. And we're also proud to say that Answer has an 80 to an 85% graduation rate, compared to the non-traditional rate is only 39% for non-traditional students. So we feel that we are doing something right, and we think that our success is because of our Mentors for Mom program. We provide more than scholarships. We provide wraparound services that help support our scholars through our Mentors for Mom program. We have partnerships with different organizations in the community, for example, Pfeiffer University, the Charlotte Center for Legal Advocacy, Intervisions, just to name a few. And we're always searching for additional partnerships to help our scholars. Each of our scholars are paired with a mentor, and they're required to participate in the program in order to receive additional funding for the following year. But what we discovered is these scholars would greatly benefit from having someone come alongside of them that had walked in their shoes. Our scholars are required to be in school full-time. Many of them are working a full-time job or 2 or 3 part-time jobs. And life is pretty stressful. And sometimes the easiest thing for them to do is to say, I'm going to withdraw from school and, concentrate on my other issues. But these mentors come alongside them, and we want to ensure that they stay in school, they graduate, we keep the families intact, and that they're able to attain a job in their career field when they graduate. And so an interesting study out by UNCC's Urban Institute, they shared with us recently that there are over 200,000 women over 25 in the Mecklenburg County area that only have a high school degree, diploma or less. So we know there are a lot more women out there that we could be reaching. So we've got a lot of work to do. But so during COVID-19, our scholars have been under a tremendous amount of stress and anxiety. For the first time, many of them are going to school online. Many of them have lost their jobs. They've seen reductions in their hours. And for the very first time, they're having to teach their children. So it's been really, really tough for a lot of them. But through some of our partnerships, we have been able to come up with some emergency funding, which has been a real blessing for many of these women. We had one woman that we were able to, she was able to get some groceries for the month. We had another scholar who, through this emergency fund, we were able to pay for her rent. And most recently, this past week, we were able to provide one of our scholars who was in a domestic violence situation with the resources and the help she needed as well. So there's a lot of behind the scenes work that goes on with these scholars, but we're there, as I said, a full wraparound services to try to help them. And we know when we come out of this pandemic, these women are going to need their education more than ever, and we're really working hard to ensure that we will have the resources available to support these women in the upcoming year. So how can you help? Well, we are always looking for good volunteers. We need mentors. We're always looking for folks to serve on our committees, board members, and our scholars. They need gas cards, grocery cards. Those are always helpful. And another fun thing is some of the organizations have volunteered to serve lunch at one of our Saturday workshops, and those are a lot of fun. You get to come out and see firsthand what we're doing, get to meet the scholars and hear more of their stories. So, we feel like at Answer, we're making a difference one family at a time. We're helping to break that cycle of poverty. And we always say, when you educate a mom, you help change the destiny of her children. So anyway, I'd like for Erica to share a little bit about her story. And I wanted to thank Erica for joining us. Her employer was so gracious to give her a little bit of time off to speak with us today. And as you heard, Erica actually has 3 children. A 19-year-old, a 17-year-old, and a 9-year-old. So Erica, thank you for joining, and we'd love to hear a little bit more about your journey.
Well, thank you for having me, and it's nice to meet everyone. And as Ms. Anderson did say, I am at work. I currently work at the Pines at Davison in Davison, North Carolina. I've been here for 14 years. I am a senior at Queen's University of Charlotte, which I am seeking my Bachelor's of Science in Nursing, and I graduate this December 2020, and I'm like overexcited. I do have an ultimate goal. Although I am going to obtain my Bachelor's in Nursing, I do plan to return to school the next year to pursue my doctorate nurse practitioner and nurse anesthesiologist. So I'm fighting real hard with grades and making sure I keep my grades up. A little bit about me. I always kind of say everybody has a story to tell. We just tell it in different ways, and we all have different versions of our story. I became a single parent very young, at a young age. I was 22 years old. I'm now 39. My children's father, he passed away unexpectedly. And I just kind of feel like I went in survival mode whenever it comes to pursuing my education and just staying motivated. And I feel like one of my most motivational person or people in my life would have to be my children, because I can remember the day when I actually had to explain to them that they wouldn't have a father anymore. So every time I have that vision of looking at them, it kind of motivates me more to just go for what I want. And also my mom because she's 58 years old and she raised 4 children, and she just obtained her doctorate in psychology this past December of 2019. So that's another motivating factor for me. Um, and I'm also very thankful to Miss Andersen and being a part of the Answer Scholarship Program, because I feel like it's very encouraging to meet other women in similar situations as myself and actually be able to tell their story. And my story may motivate them, and their story may motivate me. And I think it's awesome to have a mentor, because one day in my life, I would like to mentor another individual like myself. And that's it. Thank you all for having me.
Thank you. And appreciate you joining us today. And please tell your employer thank you for giving you a little bit of time. Yeah. And next I've asked MJ to join us. MJ's been with us. This is her second year. And she really has an incredible journey and a story to tell herself. MJ?
Yes, thank you so much. Although you guys can't see me, the most important is that you can hear me, so I can tell the story. But I'd like to thank you all for this opportunity that also Answer has provided me to speak. It's amazing to be here. And so I am MJ Vang. I am a mother of 2 kids. I'm a wife and a junior at Queen's University of Charlotte. So if you were the future coming to relay the message to my then 23-year-old self that I, MJ, would later return to college to pursue my bachelor degree, I would have laughed and never spoke to you again because of how outrageous it sounded at that time. As I had already tried and dropped out of college a few times already. Not too long ago, I had attempted to end my life, and I was at the hospital for several days on a heart monitor. I remember looking out the hospital window at the busy street of Charlotte and feeling so lonely, hopeless, and lost. How did I get here? Why was I still here? I would ask God repeatedly. I didn't think I would be given another chance to live, nor an opportunity to redeem myself in society. I was soon transferred to an inpatient psychiatric facility where I was then rehabilitated, and that rehabilitation gave me a profound sense of hope and meaning in my life. There, my purpose came to me. I was born to help people. Humanitarianism has always been viscerally innate and intrinsic to me ever since I was a young child. I was put in a position to grow up fast to help my parents, as they were both Hmong refugees who sought asylum here in the U.S. during the Vietnam War. So I've lived and seen, I've seen and lived through poverty, and I saw the tremendous help my parents needed. And I always wanted to help not just them, but anyone I saw struggling. So life happened, and at the age of 19, I had gotten pregnant with my daughter, and I was kicked out of my own home and married, and so I went down a different path. Fast forward, after becoming a jack of all trades and receiving therapy, I decided to re-enroll in college again. So 2 years later, I graduated Central Piedmont Community College with honors and obtained my Associate of Applied Science degree. I then decided to further my education and transferred to Queens, and Answer has served as the conduit to improve myself and many mothers' lives in the community. And what Answer has done for me is, number one, they believed in me. Number two, they inspired me to be successful. And number three, they mitigated my stress to focus on school. Answer is more than just a scholarship. They are a community, haven, and most importantly, a union of all strong and industrious mothers for us to openly and freely express ourselves. So I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to Answer's unrelenting effort and compassion that they've continued to devote in fostering a safe and trusting environment for uplifting and educating women, and for the abundance of resources and support that they've provided us. I was partnered with my mentor, Runetta, who has a wealth of knowledge, and she is a phenomenal woman. She is always there for me, and she has always provided me with her insight and wisdom to help me grow and develop both personally and professionally. I am just forever grateful for the unconditional love, support, and empowerment that Answer has provided for me. Susan, Martha, Runetta, and all of the women in Answer has shaped my belief that if we want change in the community, then we need to believe and be the change we see, because it starts in each one of us. So thank you so much.
Thank you, MJ. We appreciate you sharing your story with us. Does anybody have any questions for us today?
Oh, Susan, Kevin here. I do have, first of all, I just want to say thank you, and thank you especially to Erica and MJ for sharing their very personal stories. Those are personal, powerful stories. As the child of a mom in Detroit, Michigan, who went back to school at the age of 50, I can appreciate the stories here and the meaning of what education can do to help shape a life. I think it's powerful. I think it's very powerful, especially too in this particular year where we're honoring the right of women to receive the vote in our country. Our club has been honoring particular women. We've had some guest speakers, people within the community who have paid homage to the significance of this year. So we think we've achieved that today unknowingly with these stories that we just heard from Erica and MJ. We applaud you both. Susan, I had a particular question for you about, you mentioned some of the one-offs that you've had to handle this year, your contingencies, how you had to help a mom who was going through a domestic violence situation. How are you structured to handle those one-offs, those things that just happen because it's life?
So what we did, we have the Mentors for Mom program, and we have a program director, Martha Honeycutt. So she oversees the mentors, and the mentors basically oversee the scholars. And so when we have serious situations, the mentors will usually contact Martha, and Martha has worked diligently through the community to find these partnerships. And we ourselves don't go in and fix them, but we provide the resources to the scholars and say, here they are. And but we hear the stories, especially at the top level. I mean, usually Martha we don't get involved with the day-to-day, but when something becomes serious, we both hear about it. We figure out what's the best approach, and we want to make sure that we're able to provide assistance if we're able, or at least point them in the right direction. We know we can't fix the problem for them, but we want to be able to point them in the right direction.
Wonderful. I do have one quick follow-up question. I freely admit that I've done some snooping around your website because that's my job.
I hope
I wanted to know, I noticed that all of the mentors that I saw on your website are women. Is that by design? Is it a requirement, or tell us about that?
So we actually have two different components. We have the Mentors for Mom program, a mentor. So each woman is provided a mentor, and that will be a woman because that's a one-on-one. We do have professional development, and we do have actually men in that program. So for the career piece, and we do have career coaching. So that's not limited to just women, but the one-on-one has to be a woman. I'm sorry.
No, I totally understand that and appreciate that. I wanted to confirm that.
Yes.
As we look forward to opportunities to partner with you. So, thank you.
We do need mentors. We do need folks that if you've got for professional development, if you have a particular skill piece that could help us, we'd love to talk with you. We have a volunteer coordinator who helps place everybody where they're supposed to be.
Awesome. Do we have any other questions?
Don't see any hands. Anybody?
If I don't want to be the question hog here, but if I could ask Erica and MJ individually, what's your biggest challenge to date, and what's the biggest impediment you see in the future?
Can you repeat that one more time?
Erica, I'm sorry. What's the biggest challenge you faced, or what do you envision as the biggest challenge you will face in achieving your ultimate goal?
Well, I feel like the biggest challenge for myself is I have a daughter that's in college too. So I'm not only supporting myself and her younger siblings, but I'm also still supporting her and encouraging her the importance of going to school. So I believe that would be my biggest challenge, because
And
even after I graduate and I pursue my doctorate, the program requires for you not to work. So I'm still going to have to juggle and still help her figure out her plan in life along with the others.
great. Great. MJ, how about you?
I think for myself, I think my biggest challenge would be, because the human services is so broad, trying to pinpoint which demographic I would like to work with and how I would like to serve others. I think that in signs that he's paid for me. So yeah.
Any other questions? Barbara?
I don't, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I don't have a question, but rather a comment. I brings tears to my eyes to hear the stories of Erica and MJ. They're so brave, so talented, such beautiful people who have overcome circumstances that many of us have maybe never faced in our lives. And I'm just really brought to tears by how beautiful they are as people, and to Susan and her organization for making it possible for these young girls to come to this place in their life where they're just on the brink of their careers and have close to completed their education. And it's just a beautiful program and beautiful people.
Barbara,
Thank
I
you.
don't,
Thank you
yes.
so much. Thank you for that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Barbara, you've kind of encapsulated exactly the way I was feeling. You know, this is for me. These are happy tears because these are stories of perseverance and people who have been able to achieve some incredible things. And isn't that what Rotary is all about? Isn't that what we are about as people? As we look at what we do and who we serve, I just applaud these women in what they're doing, especially at this time in our country's history. So, Barbara, thank you for putting that much more eloquently and much more passionately than I could have ever done. So, thank you. Any other questions or comments? We've got lots of virtual hugs out here.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, I think that's all I have. Ladies, again, many thanks to you. Susan, we will be in touch with you because I think we do have some opportunities that
Perfect.
we
That's
would
great.
like to pursue. And we will definitely be in touch.
Thank you.
All right. If there's
Wait,
nothing
Jim's
else.
got his hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Jim?
Okay, Jim.
Just wanted to say again, this was a very motivational program. Barbara, you did say it very, very well. Thank you.
Yes. Yes, I agree. All right, I don't see any other hands or anything. So, again, many thanks to all of you for joining us today. I'm going to ask now that you join along with us in reciting our 4-way test, which is now a 5-way test. So, of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth?
Is it the truth?
Is it fair to all
Fair to all
concerned?
concerned?
Will it build
Build
goodwill and better
friendships?
friendships?
Will it
Be
Will it
beneficial
be
to all
to all
concerned?
concerned?
And
Actually, neither. Will it be
Will it
fun?
be fun?
All right. Thank you, folks. Have a great Memorial Day weekend. And again, many thanks to you, Susan, Erica, and MJ for sharing your stories with us. Thank you all. Be safe.
Thank you. Thank you
Bye.
for having us.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.